quarter of children now spend 4 hours a day on their mobile phones, according to a shocking survey for the Children's Commissioner.
Well, Dame Rachel D'Souza is calling for tougher action to protect children outside of school, including a social media ban for under-16s.
She says parents need support creating what she calls appropriate boundaries for their children online. So we're asking today, is giving phones to kids lazy parenting?
Well, we're joined now by writer and parent Emma Wolfe and senior lecturer at Bayes University Business School, Yusuf. Good to see you both this morning. Emma, let's start with you. Is giving kids phones lazy parenting?
Look, we've always had lazy parenting. We've had parents who shove their children in front of cartoons all day. We've had children who shove their children in front of, parents who shove children in front, on the sofa in front of the television all day long. Fine. But actually, screens and smartphones have become the kind of electronic babysitter. It is extremely lazy parenting, Ellie, but it's actually a lot more dangerous than that. Children being unsupervised online is extremely, extremely dangerous. The internet is simply not a safe place for children and young people. If you think about it as a physical space, think about the internet as a space, as a park, full of grooming, full of paedophiles, full of violent games, full of incel culture, full of bullying. You wouldn't give that to your children. You wouldn't let your young children, and we are talking about young children here. I know children of 3 and 4 years old who have their own little tablet, who have their own smartphone, unsupervised in their bedroom. And as for 4 hours a day for a quarter of children, I would say it's a bit like asking people how much they drink. I would say it's a lot higher than that. I would say many children are online 8, 9, 10 hours a day. Why do we have, and I will stop, but why do we have spiraling levels suddenly in this generation of anxiety, depression, obesity, isolation? Why do we have spiraling levels of attention deficit, of autism, of mutism? That hasn't just happened. That is a result, a direct result of the internet and the usage of smartphones amongst the young.
Yusuf, is Emma right? Should we blame all of these issues that children are experiencing right now on their use of mobile phones?
Yeah, I don't agree. To be honest, just blaming everything online is just simply maybe simple fix for all of those big issues, right? So we know that pedagogically there are a lot of underlying reasons for this type of attention deficit. But in my opinion, I mean, instead of just banning social media or secretly limiting screen time totally, we should focus on teaching children and parents how to use those tools responsibly, right? So let's be honest, because it's like telling everyone, oh, we should ban swimming because people are drowning, and when they are 16, and then we are trying to throw them in the ocean and say that now you have to swim, right? So we need to equip them with the right skills and right methodologies how to cope with this type of content, because when they are 16, they are not going to be equipped like immediately, right? So, and then all those content that Emma mentioned will still be there, right? So we as adults, we are still exposed to all of those harmful content, but without knowing how to deal with the stuff, what are we going to do? Assuming that they are 16 and they know what to do is just like a very big, major assumption that it's going to be all right, right? So instead of this, teaching technological literacy or telling them like how to deal with the harmful content or identifying harmful content, and then of course empowering parents, right? So I am a parent, and I mean, when I say that those are the reasons for autism, I have a nonverbal autistic daughter, and funnily enough, she started to learn some words by watching YouTube Kids, right? So, or some other like educational content on YouTube, right? So that's why we should focus on the positive side of it. Of course, there are some risks associated with this type of content, and I'm not advocating that we should just give them unlimited screen time without any provision or anything, right? So any monitoring, but empowering parents and then teaching kids or young people how to deal with the content and how to actually identify this type of content will be the key for future.
Emma, do we need to see the positives in all of this?
I struggle, and I entirely respect what Yusuf says about and his daughter, and that's fantastic that she is finding, really good, beneficial educational resources online. But I do struggle to find the benefits for very young children. I really do. When people say to me, oh, all that information, I say, libraries. When people say to me, meeting other people, I say playgrounds. When people say to me, oh, it's great they can build communities, I say schools and nurseries, being with other children. Generally, just to go back to lazy parenting, to give you an example, 6 o'clock this morning, my 4-year-old is bouncing around. It would have been so easy to put him in front of a screen, wouldn't it? Instead of which, I got the bike out, took him out, running around the park, chasing after him, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, you're good.
I'm the most miserable mother in Islington. He's the happiest little boy. That is, I'm not saying parenting is fun. That's my point. I'm saying it's a lot of it, Christopher, you will know this, is boring, hard work, being the only one in the park, in the rain, whatever. But it is better for children in general, and I'm not talking about specific cases, but in general, to be outdoors, to be with other kids, to be in the fresh air.
Well, Yusuf, do you have any rules in your house? Do you, like, ban mobile phones from the dinner table, for example?
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, like I'm a father of 2. I have a 13-year-old son and 8-year-old daughter as well. So I'm not advocating that we should actually give unlimited time, but there should be some rules and regulations. And parents, as because as parents, we don't know how to use social media or phone responsibly, and we are not actually setting a good example, right? So in teaching and pedagogy, we are always trying to talk about setting a good example and telling them, instead of telling them don't do it, we should set an example. But I mean, Emma mentioned about average screen time. It's no good for adults, right? So adults actually spend hours and hours. I'm sometimes doing a small samples in my classroom when I teach. I ask my master students, they're around 23, 25 years old. They only spend 3-4 hours on certain social media platforms, right? Why? Because they didn't get enough resources to deal with this. What I do at home, I tell my kids, like my son especially, plan out your day, right? So you have to play games on PlayStation, and you have to spend some time on social media or even WhatsApp, using WhatsApp, because those are the social environments right now. We cannot actually ignore and say that you have to go out to park and play with your play with your friends. Their friends are online. Their friends are actually sharing something on WhatsApp. We did a research several years ago to a major sports brand in Turkey, and they asked us to analyze high school students and university students' online consumption. How do they use internet, right? And there was a really striking quote that I still remember. A young lady told me that instead of losing her phone, she would rather lose her, one important body part. So we were sort of shocked. She said, can you please explain this, right? Yeah. And she said that,
That's insane.
maybe it's a major issue, but she said that without my phone, I'm not social with my friends. I'm not actually reaching out to my environment. I cannot contact my family when I need them. Talking about all of those essential stuff, she made that her point, to exaggerate it, to be honest. Right? So she didn't mean it, of course. No. And then talking about all of those, it is crucial for them, right? So, and then we know that with the adolescent TV show, people are still talking about we need to ban it, but social media can support positive social development.
Okay.
Right? So we need to
Yusuf and Emma, thank you so much. Sorry to cut you off there, Yusuf. We are out of time with you both, but thank you so much for your time. Let us know what you think. gbnews.com/yoursay.
Coming up, Nigel Farage joins us.